Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 163 of our Isle of Man series. Happy Wednesday, wherever in the world you happen to be watching from, or happy whatever day of the week it is. If you're watching this one on a playlist on the weekend or something like that, who knows. Consume your content however the hell you want. We are still early in the Premier Division season. Champions League football's kicked off. There's a whole bunch of different stuff going on. We are no longer undefeated, which is quite frustrating. I'll go through our results in a second and explain to you guys why, but the invincible season falls down in a pretty early hurdle. It is still tight at the top, and we've got two huge fixtures against Manchester City and Tottenham today to try and climb above some of our rivals in and around the European places and in and around the title picture as well. Well, let's jump straight in and see how we've gotten on. So, first and foremost, as you can see, we're up above my head here in 4th position. 9 games played, 6 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat during that period. Plus 16 goal difference, best in the division, and 20 points. We're currently 2 points behind Chelsea in top spot. We're currently 1 point behind Man United and Southampton. Southampton, the only undefeated side remaining in the Premier Division so far this season, on 21 points. Just behind us, Arsenal, Leicester on 19, Manchester City, who we will play in this first game today, on 17 points. They could go above us if there's a goal swing in that match. Now, you might be thinking, what side has actually toppled you and beaten you so far this season? We, of course, in yesterday's episode, had a good 4-1 win against Everton, a tough 2-2 draw against PSG, and then followed it up with a good 2-0 victory against Watford. Again, Ruben Martinez continuing to score. He scored in pretty much every appearance in the Premier Division he's made thus far. Got another one in the Carabao Cup against Bradford City, comfortably through after rotating quite a bit. Most of our backup players and squad players played in that match. We then had a 0 draw with Burnley. We peppered their goal. We just didn't find the finish in this particular game. Castro picked up an injury in that one, which kind of had a struggle a little bit. Frank Richard came off the bench in his position, didn't play that well. Uli Schaefer didn't play that well. Haji came off the bench as well, didn't really impact the game all that much. Just too many players in like the midfield and final third that didn't really perform on the day. But with a better side, I think in the reverse fixture, we'll beat Burnley comfortably at home. That's no real concern. We then played Roma away from home in the Champions League. We were, I think, the better side in this one as well. But again, a couple of the forward players like Paul Harold, Uli Schaefer, Matteo, not performing to the best of their abilities. 6.5 match ratings, and really we just struggled to kind of get that second goal. We scored through Lucas Gabriel, a wonderful overlapping run from the fullback in the 48th minute. They pulled us back 3 minutes later. Gianpiero Martinelli with a goal from a corner, and we had a few chances late on, but couldn't get the result. It's not the worst result in the world. They didn't beat us. I think we will beat them at home as well. And as things stand, that kind of puts us in second position comfortably in the group stage. We are 3 points clear of Roma, who are down in third spot. Dinamo, of course, just the 1 point. That first day draw with Roma puts them in a good position. We do want to try and leapfrog PSG, finish as high in the group as humanly possible, but we are comfortably in second position ahead of Roma as things currently stand. We had a fantastic performance. At the time, Chelsea were top of the division. We were second. Again, Martinez getting amongst the goals. Pablo Rivera making his return from injury. A double off the bench as well, which was fantastic to see. And I thought things were looking great. We've beaten our biggest title rival to date quite comfortably at home. And then all of a sudden, West Ham rolled in. Carlos Andre got himself sent off in the 2nd minute. I perhaps made the wrong decision. I kept it like kind of 3 at the back. And that didn't work quite the way I wanted to. They scored in the 5th and 14th minutes. We then made an adjustment where we went to 1 midfielder with 2 still up top, the 2 wide wingers, but then just having Arnaud Henry at the base of midfield. And that seemed to work a lot better. We still created quite a few chances despite being 10 men. We still had good opportunities to win it. Martinez scores because Martinez scores whenever he plays in the Premier Division at the moment. But it was an 89th minute consolation goal. Maybe if I had got that tactical adjustment right once Carlos Andre was sent off in the 2nd minute, maybe we don't concede those 2 goals. So let's chalk that one up to manager error, but it is frustrating that, West Ham, who have done absolutely nothing this season and are currently sitting 17th in the league, are the team that actually knocks us off at any point in the year. We then beat Dinamo last time out as well, rotated a little bit for this one, a couple of knocks, a couple of injuries, obviously risks of suspension coming in the group stages. So a couple of the backup players or squad players played in this one, but a comfortable 2-1 victory. Their goal was really the only highlight they had. We had a few extras. Ruben Martinez, of course, scored again. He's been fantastic. In his 7 appearances for the club so far, he has 12 goals. In the league itself, 8.46 average rating is the highest in the division. Why did we loan him out last year? Why did I do that? I should have kept him around the squad. Maybe he could have been the catalyst to a higher finish for us last season. But that does bring us to today's episode where we're going to play Man City in the Premier Division. We'll play this Carabao Cup fixture against Fulham off screen. I think we'll rotate and let some of the squad players play in that one as well. I don't really care about the Carabao Cup, to be honest. And then we will play Tottenham to finish off the episode. Even though they are showing City in 7th position and Tottenham in 9th, they're not miles away from everything. They're only 3 points behind us in both respects. So they should be 2 very hard-fought contests, and if we get 6 points, it will be a very impressive achievement at this point of the season. As far as the squad's concerned, we have a pretty strong lineup. At the moment, we've got 2 Mexicans playing together up top, and it has so far been pretty successful. Ruben Martinez at the start of the season was 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. He's already rocketed up to 4.5-star current ability. Still only 20 years of age, still a wonder kid. Doesn't turn 21 till January, but he has been absolutely fantastic this season. I really just want him to continue performing at the rate that he is. I'm sure that bubble will burst eventually, but maybe playing alongside his compatriot Pablo Rivera, who's been in and around the Premier Division for a few seasons, maybe that will help him as they develop a bit of a bond, a bit of a partnership, and hopefully score the goals to continue our good run of form early part of the season. Only injuries to worry about. Carlos Andre still suspended. He got a 3-game suspension for his straight red card against West Ham. Abelan has a bit of a knock as well. Lucas Gabriel's had a bit of a knock from international duty, but he is now a full Brazilian international, 1 cap and a goal on his debut as well. Both he and Carlos Andre, when they get called up to the squad, are the starting fullbacks for the Brazilian national side, which I think is fantastic for our development. Both players that we picked up out of nowhere from Brazil, both, I think, times we paid their release clauses, and they've just developed fantastically well over the last few seasons. Both Carlos Andre and Lucas Gabriel enjoying their best seasons with us to date so far in the season. City, of course, as we know, a very strong side. We don't have the best, I think, record against them. If we look at our previous games against them, 14 times played, we've only beat them in regulation time once. The last time we played them, though, was in that Community Shield. We did get the victory on penalties to secure that silverware, but they had won 3 straight before that. We had a draw briefly a couple of years ago, a couple of wins in there, and that 1 win in regulation time in the Premier Division was 3 seasons ago. So really, we want to try and start turning that record against them around a little bit. Bit of a knock and a concern on Medjugorje at left wing back. He'll fill in for Carlos Andre, who's suspended. Furkan Yilmaz will also play as the wing back, attacking on the right with Lucas Gabriel not quite ready. We don't want to rush them back too quickly. We're also going to bring Bruno Castro back into the lineup. He's been out for a few weeks with, I think, an ankle injury, but he should be good enough to start and get through at least 60 minutes in today's episode. We may switch him out with Frank Richard over the course of both games if we need to, but otherwise it's a pretty strong lineup. I think we can carry on and continue to get good results. We're at least going to go attacking. We're at least going to go after it a little bit. We know City have quality. We know they have ability on the counter-attack as well. We'll have to be at our best if we want to beat them. They're going with 4-2-3-1 because every big club in Football Manager plays a 4-2-3-1 in this year's version of the game. They are starting Neil Peacock, ex-FC Isle of Man, 116 appearances for us, 25 goals. He was our first full England international that we had at the club, and he hasn't developed much further since moving to City. He's pretty much at the same level he was when he left, but he has moved to elite winger status in the game itself. 13 goals and 54 appearances for City so far. Very similar career trajectory to what he had with us as well. Over on the other side, Vasha is their leading scorer for the season, also their captain, 27-year-old French striker. They're playing him as an inside forward, it looks like, on the left-hand side. A very good player, though. 17 finishing, 19 first touch, 16 technique, 17 off the ball, 19 balance and agility, 18 pace, 16 acceleration. Just an absolute beast who scores against us quite often. Included in that list, Toby Owens as well. He's going to play up front for them today. Funnily enough, he is a left winger by trade, but they're going to use him as a forward, which he's also pretty comfortable at. Full England international, 77 caps and 55 goals to his name. A very impressive England career for him. He came through the Man City Academy, was at Brentford for a season. We played him back in the Championship when we were playing Brentford quite regularly. They've got a good side. We will have to be at our best to beat them. They're not playing Kelly, or no, is it Kelly? The Irish right back, Brady. I wonder if maybe he's got an injury or a knock or something like that. Nah, it just looks like they've left him out of the squad. If he's not going to play regularly, maybe he's someone that we look to maybe try and pick up if he's going to get unsettled or unhappy throughout the course of the season. Might be something to keep an eye on, but we have to focus on the team that's out there today, getting a good result. Passionately, we're going to say, great opportunity to show the pundits are right to back you up. And I'm going to calmly tell the front two, let's keep the good form going because they were excellent last time out. 2 goals from each of them, getting us a comfortable victory against Chelsea in a similar top flight game. Rivera with a wide ball here, tries to cut it back, but instead he goes wide shot at goal. Cerrone with a good save. Early days though, good to see a striker getting an early shot on target. Maybe could have looked for the ball back across the box, find his strike partner. Castro, wide left free kick on his right foot. Abdesamad was there, back stick, but the header just over the crossbar. Throw in, left-hand side, Medjugorje to take. Henri with possession now, back to Abdesamad. Wait for the press to come. Henri finds Lind in a good pocket of space. Ball forward to Furkan Yilmaz on the overlap, and he just had to get that on target. Should have been a goal, or it should at least been a strike on target, or forcing a save, but he screws the shot wide. I guess it's a defender's finish. Maybe we're a little bit blessed by Lucas Gabriel playing at right wing back, who is a winger as his natural position. His finishing and his ability on the ball is very, very good. Vasher, left ball, finds Owens. Got a lot to do, wide left area. Cut back ball towards Peacock. He's clipped the base of the post before Esteban gets it away. That's the danger. City are very good. They really only need 1 or 2 opportunities to find the back of the net. We can't be giving them too much. And as we're through the half an hour mark now, we're going to use a demand more shout. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to get to halftime at 0-0. We can regroup a bit at halftime and go from there, or press on a little bit further. But they do have a throw in here. Right-hand side, ball across the midfield. Maybe if we were pressing a little bit more aggressively, we could have got there. Ball out wide right now to Peacock. Closed down well by Majidou, but it's going to fall to Gökhan Keklik in midfield. Henri wins it back in a great area. Now Rivera has a bit of work to do, but finds Lind. Can we find a reverse pass? Henri looks to send something over to the left-hand side. It's a poor clearance, though. It gives it back to Man City. They look to come forward on the counter. Menegazzo back to Sanchez in midfield. He looks to carry the ball through. Wide right again to Peacock. We're looking to find him early in transition. Cut back to Menegazzo. Francois, Menegazzo, Vasher, Sanchez. Closed down well in midfield. This one's going end-to-end at the moment. Rivera's gotten goal side on the far end. Finds Martinez on the square ball, and he can't find the finish. I lost my ability to speak in the quick fashion of that counter-attack, but it was a good save from Cerrone around the post. Corner comes in again. It's going to fall to Rivera after the clearing header. Henri, work it out to the left. Harold's there. We've got a couple of bodies, but instead we delay it a little bit too long, and the highlight comes to an end. End-to-end stuff there. I really thought maybe Man City were going to work a shot at the edge of the area, but maybe that was probably the biggest chance of the game so far. Assertively, we're not doing too badly. Keep it up, or maybe we'll assertively tell everyone that there's a lot more to come from each of them. No one playing particularly horribly, but there are a couple of 6.4s, 6.5s in there. Really, the game on a knife edge. Whoever comes out of the halftime break looking stronger or with the better team talk might go on to win the match. Henri to Martinez here. We have got a highlight immediately from kickoff. An early goal in the second half would change the complexion of the match. Good ball in behind for Rivera, and it's a good save from Cerrone again. The Man City custodian having an excellent game. Forces it out for the corner to be taken by Castro on his right foot, curling back towards goal. Francois with a powerful header. That clearing header got about 40 yards of distance on it before it hit the ground. Wide throw in, right-hand side for City. We're tight to the ball. Castro wins it back. Harold looks for the long one forward. Rivera with a lovely touch around the defender. Can he find the finish? It's Cerrone equal to it. Wonderful save from the City goalkeeper. Pushes it out for the corner. Got to make one of these corners count. Castro with the ball in towards the good space. Martinez was there. Cleared to Lind. Now Henri at the edge of the area. Loses out to Menegazzo, but Esteban will recover, and the highlight comes to an end. So we are putting pressure on, but still, you get that feeling that it's only going to take Man City one good chance to find a finish. With the quality of Vasher, the delivery of Peacock, players that they're bringing on the bench now, we're going to look at making subs as well. Martinez hasn't had the greatest game, neither's Rivera. What I might do is just swap their roles, or maybe we'll take off Rivera. He's not 100% fit, working his way back. We'll bring on Uli Schaefer as the deep lying and move Martinez to the advance forward. Castro, we're going to give a spell as well, just because he's not fully fit. We'll bring on Frank Richard on the right-hand side. He was excellent when he came on against PSG in the Champions League. Maybe he can carry some of that form into the Premier Division as well. We've also used a Get Creative shout, Old Faithful, after an hour. It usually works. And so far, it looks like Cerrone's been the man of the match for City. Again, a deep free kick from Henri. It was going wide, but Cerrone gets a touch on it just to give us the corner. Harold will now take on the left foot towards near post. Esteban was there, but it's cleared away. We really need to put our foot down here. There's 10 minutes remaining in the game. We've got one more sub up our sleeve. Martinez, do we take him off for Kozlov? Yeah, we'll change the two forwards. They just haven't had the luck today. It's two freshmen up front. Let's see how they can combine over the last 10 minutes. We're going to use demand more shout as well. Give everyone some focus through to full time. And as the time whittles away, 3 additional minutes to be added on at the end of the second half. And the referee's called full time. It feels like maybe we're the better side in terms of the highlights that we saw. 12 shots, 8 on target, 50% possession for Isle of Man. 12 shots, 3 on target, 50% of the ball for Man City. Very even statistically speaking. Calmly, we're going to say, unlucky boys, it just wasn't our day. I want to keep morale up as much as possible. I'm keen to ensure heads don't drop, even with these couple of drop points that we've had over the last few weeks. And where does that put us in the division itself? So we stay in 4th position. Don't really move up or down, but Chelsea have pulled now 4 points clear ahead of us. And Man United similarly are now 3 points clear, albeit both sides with less than goal differences. Arsenal in and around that area, Southampton, Liverpool, Leicester making up the other European places. City dropped down to 8th position. And it does mean that we are still 3 points clear of Tottenham, who are on 18 points. So they could go above us if there's a 10-goal swing in the next game, which I don't think is going to happen. And they looks like drew with West Ham in their match during today's fixtures. Matthias Cerrone, the City goalkeeper, gets a 7.6 and the highest match rating for the game, Man of the Match award. which I guess is kind of a good thing, I guess. If we're drawing a lot of saves out of their keeper, it means that we are creating chances. We are going to give everyone, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to clear out the entire squad. We're going to give everybody in the squad a rest day. And then we're probably going to play, or we are going to play, and not probably, we are going to play this Fulham game in the Carabao Cup off screen. We'll give some of our rotation players the opportunity to play and get minutes under their belt. And magic of editing, we're going to jump forward to the game against Tottenham now and look at the two lineups. All right, and just like that, we're a couple of days further ahead. We had a very, very good 4-0 win in the Carabao Cup against Fulham, which is great performance. Like backup players getting involved, getting goals. Kozlov got his first goal for the club. Schaefer was excellent. Frank, Richard, and Matteo both played well, which we need if they're going to be coming off the bench throughout the course of the year. It sets up a nice little, pretty straightforward quarterfinal against Swansea. There are some strong teams still left in that competition. City and United play each other. Newcastle plays Liverpool. Watford play Arsenal. We'll continue to give those backup players a run in that competition. And who knows, maybe we can make it through to the semi-finals or even the final itself if the draw is kind to us. Interestingly as well, it came through during the week. We are the leading development club in the English Premier Division for players playing in the top flight. So 29 players that have come through the books of Isle of Man, of course, the 24 that we've currently got in the squad, but some additional players as well. Scott Phillips, of course, still at Bournemouth, not playing too much for them, to be honest. He was good for us in our first couple of seasons in the Premier Division, but just never really finished at the level that we needed him to. 3 players at Fulham: Sigurdsson, the big Icelandic defender that we had, Jimmy Winter, Scottish midfielder we had for a couple of seasons, Nicola Materazzi, who never made a first-team appearance for the club, but came through our youth academy back in the day, wouldn't sign a new contract, so Fulham picked him up on a free. Neil Peacock, of course, at Man City, our largest sale. Alta Miranda, who we've spoken about a couple of times, he was excellent for us, helping us getting promoted out of the Championship. A free transfer, I can't even believe that, from Rosario Central at the end of his contract. And his 23 goals that season are what really pushed us towards that Championship title. And he was excellent again, our first season in the Premier Division before making the jump over to Newcastle. Luciano Fontana, who left for Southampton during the off-season. Selahattin Berber, Turkish right-back at West Ham. Akeem Miller, who was Barbados. He's now an English under-21 international. Now at West Ham as well, has made a good few appearances for them. Mohamed Hosseini, who we had forever ago in the Championship. We picked him up for next to nothing from Iran directly. He was magnificent for us for a whole season at the base of midfield, and then Wolves paid £12 million for him, which was his release clause at the time, and he's been there ever since, but hasn't quite hit the heights I think he probably would have had we kept him for a few more seasons and given him game time. But interesting to see, and we're up to 4.5-star reputation as well, which is very, very impressive stuff. We're getting there, slowly but surely. We're becoming kind of like an English and maybe global superpower of football. Lineup, strongest lineups available, with the exception of Carlos Andre. Medjugorje will continue at left wing back, which is great. He's playing particularly well, and he slots straight into that wing back on attack role very, very well, which is great to see. Hopefully the Mexican front two will continue to develop a bond between them and will continue to ride their goals all the way to a good result. We don't want to have 2 games in today's episode with no goals in them, so I'm very, very hopeful that we can get a good result against Tottenham. They're playing a 4-2-3-1 because, of course, they are. Every big club in Football Manager this year plays that same formation. They have got some good players. Corrington Silva's a player that I've tried to bring in a couple of different times. He was a wonder kid for years and years, and they had no interest in selling him at all. I think when we initially put a bid in, they wanted something like 280 million or something like that. Good player. Played his first full real season in the Premier Division last year. 7.03 match rating for a teenager is pretty impressive. He's 21 now, and also having a good start to the season. 9 appearances, 1 goal, and a 7.09 match rating. He plays alongside Sneer Suisa, who is an English central defender and has also got 60 caps to his name. Came through at Sheffield Wednesday in the division below before making the jump over to Tottenham. He's been there for a few seasons now, but he looks very, very solid. 20 concentration, 20 decision-making. Very impressive mental attributes for the centre defender. They've got quite a few leading assist makers. So at the moment, Galland, their left back, Bowley in midfield, Ariola, the left winger, and Dobric are their equal leading assist makers for the season. We'll have a look at Zlatko Dobric, 29-year-old Croatian winger. Looks solid. Not super spectacular. 16, 17s in there. Couple of 18s. 18 determinations. Impressive. 19 natural fitness. 18 agility. Good stuff, but only 3.5-star current ability and potential. Not exactly a world beater. Their highest average rated player this season so far is Juninho, who's also their leading scorer. He has 4 goals in 6 appearances in the Premier Division, 6 goals in 5 in the Conference League in Europe. 4.5-star current ability and potential. 20 finishing is very impressive. He looks to be a solid prospect. Where's Alisson Vicente? Did he leave Tottenham? If they've sold some players and I just haven't been paying attention, it will be very interesting. No, it doesn't look like they have. So is he still there in their squad? Yeah, he's injured at the moment, which is a good one for us. One of those players that consistently scores against us. He is unhappy. He wants to be playing Champions League. We just can't afford his 325k wages. I don't even think before we get to the end of this series we're going to get anywhere near that. Assertively, we're going to say we owe Tottenham after what happened in our last match, and everyone's responded positively, which is always fantastic to see. We'll set this back up to be looking at the Premier Division fixtures, and we'll keep an eye on the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United to see what sort of results they get in their games. First highlight of the match, throw in with Medjugorje on the left-hand side. Crosses close down pretty effectively. Henry will reset through Abdesamad. All the way back to Mancini. Wait for the press before you play the ball. Puts a good ball into Henry in midfield. Abdesamad, back to Mancini again. 2 men nearly go to the ball. That's what we want. We want to try and... This is where the vertical tiki-taka portion comes into it. They've committed 2 men now. Now let's go forward. Ball out left to Medjugorje. Has got some space, but he takes a little while to take that touch. Forward to Harold. Back to Henry. Now Martinez. Can we work it out to the other side? Lovely reverse pass from Medjugorje on the overlap. The strike is saved by Mueller. It comes out to Castro. Ball towards back stick. It's cleared again. Medjugorje might get another bite at it, but the highlight comes to an end. Good start, though. Getting good bodies into the box. Getting good play forward. Keeping possession. Waiting for them to commit too many forward in the attack. Deep ball from Henry is going to head back straight to him. Medjugorje out wide right to Gabriel. We go all the way back to Mancini as we look to recover our defensive shape. Now Gabriel, wide right area. Esteban, Gabriel just exchanging passes. Areola's won it back and knocked it to Beck for Tottenham. Square ball to Juninho. It's a wonderful recovery tackle. Laid back for Dobric though, and it's a good finish from Zlatko Dobric. Might have heard me talking shit about him being not spectacular in the build-up. And it's Esteban who coughed up possession in a pretty rough area. This challenge and recovery is great from Juninho there. I think it's Lind that closes him down. But he lays it off to Dobric on his left foot, curls it around Mancini, who can't really do too much about it. Even at full stretch, diving to his right-hand side, he couldn't quite get there. Areola with the deep ball in. Mancini saves and holds. We're back in possession. We got another highlight in us here. Want to try and peg them back as quickly as possible. Ball out to Castro. Henry with a long one forward for Rivera. Got a lot of work to do. Gets it on his left foot. Hits the inside of the post, and then Suissa gets it away for the corner. Good response, though, from the boys. Gabriel with the corner in. It's cleared only as far as Juninho. He's going to carry the ball forward now. Has a lot of work to do, though. Couple of bodies getting in the box in midfield now. Medjugorje and Henry work quite well together to win the ball back, and then it's hooked into touch. Wide left free kick. Areola square ball to Silva. We spoke about him in the build-up as well. He's got his second of the season, and it's a set-piece scenario undoing us again. We are set up pretty defensively in most of our set pieces, but it's just a near-post ball, and it's a first-time finish. And again, Mancini was there. If he had maybe stayed on his feet, he could have done a little bit better. But we are 2-0 down in this one with a corner here. Harold to take. Ball in towards Martinez. He's got his first goal of the episode. 15th of the season already inside the first 10 games of the year. A wonderful ball in from Harold, who is playing against his old club, it should be said. And Martinez is a big boy. You can't tell, look at him. And he's got kind of a baby face as far as the face pack goes, but he is a big lad. Let's also use a get creative shout with about 10 minutes remaining in the half. Let's see if we can't try and drag another one back before the halftime break. Corner again, Harold to take, similar area. Martinez is there, flick on header clips the crossbar on its way over. And we can see the goal kick. Set pieces might be a scenario that we want to try and continue to exploit for Martinez if we can get him in good position. But as halftime's called, Tottenham 9 shots, 7 on target, 53% possession. 11 shots, 6 on target, 47% of the ball for Isle of Man. Aggressively, we're going to show something else in the second half, and most have responded positively, which is good to see. Tactically, let's leave it on attacking. I don't think we were the worst side. I think we had a similar amount of highlights. They just finished their 2 best chances. And as always, we'll give it 15 minutes before we look at subs and changes, and maybe that's a way to try and recover a second goal. Clearance here is going to find Juninho. Henry goes to close him down. Back to Bowley. Good ball over the top for Juninho. Takes an excellent touch around the defender and kicks it at Mancini. Good save, and then Gabriel hooks it into touch for the throw-in. Throw-in's going to continue here. Gallen to take for Tottenham. Castro's right on Bowley. It's a switch is poor. Martinez wins it back in a good area on halfway. Looks send Rivera down the left-hand side. Can he cut it back onto his favoured left foot? Ball towards Martinez, and he's clipped the post again. He's hit the crossbar, and this time the upright from the air. Good ball, one back here for Harold in midfield. He's going to come forward. He's got runners around him. Reverse pass to Rivera. He could have played in Martinez. Instead, he goes himself. Just needed to put that little reverse pass in for Martinez to run onto. Through the out mark now. Let's have a look at subs. This might be our last real chance to try and force something out of this game. Medjugorje's on 52% conditioning, which is crazy. We might bring on Warburton, who's not comfortable in the role, but can do it. And Castro not having a great game either, only on a 6.4 match rating. We're going to bring on Frank Richard on the right-hand side. And we're getting to that point now where we aren't in the best little run of form. Couple of draws, couple of defeats. Maybe we just need to go into our shell a little bit A bit of humility might help us get the goals. We're going to use Get Creative as well. Old faithful after an hour. It usually gives us the results that we want. Watch now is after going attacking, after using a Get Creative shout, the game runs out and finishes in 90 minutes with no further highlights. We are through 80 minutes now, so everything's coming to fruition. My worst fear is coming true. Result by average rating, Gabriel hasn't had a bad game, I wouldn't say. Neither's Esteban either, to be fair, but they are the lowest of the two. Maybe we take off Rivera and bring on Schaefer. Schaefer played well in the Carabao Cup. Maybe we switch Martinez to the advance forward. See if we can't get him on the end of some long balls forward. Let's tell him we've got faith, and then let's one last Get Creative shout. Usually I'd use demand more, but really we need to try and create something. Everyone seems inspired, which is good, but really we need highlights, please. 3 additional minutes to be added on, and there's a deep highlight here starting with the Mancini goal kick. Can we get forward and try and find an equaliser? Ball forward, finds Lucas Gabriel, beats a man in midfield and can drive at the defence. Wide right area, he's gone a long way, and the keeper equal to the save. Just that finish, just needed to try and blast it into one of the corners and we would have found an equaliser. And the referee calls full time. This game sometimes drives me absolutely mental. 12 shots, 9 on target, 51% possession for Tottenham. 23 shots, 10 on target, 49% of the ball, and a ton of highlights to go with it as well. Currently, we're going to say far from pleased with what I just saw from this team, and everyone's responded positively, which is good to see. We had good match ratings. We didn't play badly. It does see us drop down into 6th position, 11 games played, 6 wins, 3 draws, and 2 defeats during that period. 21 points, and we are now 7 points behind Chelsea. We need to be catching up them as quickly as possible. Looking forward to our schedule. What have we got coming up? So we've got Dinamo away in the Champions League. We'll probably play that one off screen. We'll probably play Southampton off screen as well. Maybe we come back and play Liverpool, who are in 3rd spot in tomorrow's episode, and maybe PSG away from home, who are top of the group in the Champions League. Maybe those are 2 good November games to try and bring you guys to hopefully jump back up the top of the division a little bit more and maybe potentially go top of our Champions League group as well. So, frustrating one, not going to lie. We've been on a good run of form, and eventually, I know the AI kind of figures out your tactic and all that sort of stuff, but I feel like both of our 2-1 defeats so far this season are games that we could have won had things gone a little bit differently. But that's the challenge. That's what we're going to try and work on moving forward for the rest of this week, and as we continue through next week into towards the end of the season as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that I appreciate the most. If you want to go that extra mile, support the content that little bit more, you can drop a like on this video. You can also subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our videos that will continue to release Monday to Friday, right up until the release of Football Manager 2021. But like I said at the start, more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching. I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.